White clouds drifted lazily above Sky City as dragons of various races flew overhead before landing to begin their shopping. Inside, Leon exhaled onto the shop's glass window and began to write the word vacation with his finger. Once, a perfect vacation had been within his grasp, but he hadn't cherished it. Now, after winning the championship, regret weighed heavily on him. The most painful part of defeat wasn't the loss itself, but the realization that it had come too late. Tears began to gather at the corners of his eyes. Outside the swimsuit store, a young girl noticed Leon's miserable state and tugged on her mother's hand. "Mom, that dragon's acting weird," she whispered, pointing at him. The woman didn't glance in Leon's direction. "Don't look. You'll catch it," she replied calmly. Leon, unaware of the passing glances around him, continued to wallow in silence. If the heavens gave him one more chance, he swore he'd choose to stay home and enjoy his vacation properly. Propping his head on his arm, he quietly closed his eyes and began to sob. If he had to set a limit on that vacation, he would have wished for 7 days. Thus ends another tale from the magnificent, tragic life of Leon Cosmode, the Empire's strongest dragon slayer. "Goodbye, vacation," he whispered between quiet sobs. Rossweisse, noticing Leon sitting apart from the kids, approached him with a new swimsuit in hand. "What do you think of this one?" she asked. Leon, still facing away from her, didn't bother turning around. "Nice," he replied flatly, having not even glanced at her. Rossweisse frowned, placing one hand on her hip and extending the other to show off the outfit. "You didn't even turn your head. Are you just being perfunctory with me now?" Not in the mood to argue, Leon finally turned, giving her a brief, narrow-eyed look. "Trust me," he said, giving a lazy thumbs up. "You look good in anything." Rossweisse toyed with the lace of the swimsuit. "Really? I feel like there's too much fabric, and it's kinda tight around the chest." She turned back toward the racks and began flipping through more options. One caught her eye, a sleek black swimsuit with lace accents. Holding it up, she turned to Leon. "What about this one?" The moment Leon laid eyes on it, his expression shifted. His eyes widened as his imagination betrayed him with a vivid image of Rossweisse in the revealing black lace, pale skin exposed under the faint steam of the hot spring. He stumbled backward, flustered, and a sudden nosebleed trickled down as if he'd been physically struck. Inwardly, Leon panicked. If she wears that into the hot spring, the dragon crest's gonna light up. And not just the crest, it'll shine all night. Clamping a hand over his mouth to steady his expression, he managed to mutter, "I don't think so." Rossweisse gave Leon a final glance before quietly turning back to the rack and hanging the swimsuit back in place. She closed her eyes and sighed. "All right, I thought you'd like this one. But honestly, I came out today mainly to get something for you. I already have a swimsuit prepared," she murmured, shaking her head. Meanwhile, across the store, a clerk presented 2 swimsuits, one pink, one yellow. Muin's eyes lit up at the yellow one, while Noah silently studied the pink with quiet interest. Rossweisse turned back toward Leon and noticed his sulking expression. Resting one hand on her opposite arm, she asked, "What's wrong? Still upset?" Leon didn't look at her. Eyes shut, he scowled like a child denied dessert. "No, of course not. Why would I be?" Rossweisse exhaled gently. "I know you earned this vacation, and I know it's not what you expected, but the date for the hot spring trip can't be changed." She tilted her head toward Muen and Noah. Leon followed her gaze. "But look at your daughters. They're so excited for this trip," she said softly. "If your daughters are happy, then shouldn't their father be happy too?" Even though Leon was genuinely glad that Muen and Noah would get to enjoy a vacation, he couldn't suppress a sarcastic chuckle. He cast a sideways glance at Rossweisse. "I'm so happy," he muttered dryly, though his expression said the opposite. Rossweisse raised an eyebrow, then suddenly smirked as an idea struck her. She leaned in, resting a hand lightly on his shoulder, her voice laced with playful mischief. How about this? I promise not to touch you for the next 7 days. Deal? For a second, Leon's mouth opened, but no sound came out. He blinked, then turned to face her, eyes narrowing. I don't believe you. You've got my hands all over you most days. You'd touch me whenever you want. Rossweisse stepped back dramatically and raised a hand in mock solemnity. I swear on the reputation of the Silver Dragon Queen. She already knew exactly how this would end. Leon gave a firm nod. All right, it's a deal. But then Rossweisse leaned in again, her breath brushing his ear as she whispered, just remember, if you can't control yourself, don't blame me. Her closeness sent a rush of heat to Leon's face. His cheeks turned red, but he quickly straightened, masking his flustered state with bravado. He turned toward her, their noses nearly touching. Control myself? Please. I'm a dragon slayer. Why would I go around touching a female dragon like you for no reason? Rossweisse laughed softly, turning away and strolling off with casual grace. But just before disappearing behind a row of displays, she paused and looked back over her shoulder. Just remember what you said, Leon. If my dragon pattern shows up even once during these 7 days, you're done. Leon grinned, folding his arms. Heh, who's afraid of who? The next day, Leon, Rossweisse, Noah, and Muin arrived at Flowing Cloud Valley. The sun gleamed over the towering mountains as their vacation mansion finally came into view. In the hotel lobby, a receptionist holding a slip of paper greeted them. You're the model champion family from St. Heise Academy, correct? Leaning an elbow against the reception desk, Leon looked off to the side, silent. He wore a white coat, accented with blue and gold stitching, his refined look matching Rossweisse's elegant white dress, embroidered with gold and adorned with a ruby at the center. Rossweisse beamed. That's right. Leon, overhearing their exchange, scowled inwardly. Champion is enough. Why add model in front of it? Must be the work of that old dragon vice principal with his self-serving schemes. The receptionist continued, explaining that all resort expenses would be fully covered by St. Heise Academy, and the family could enjoy any activities they liked without worry. Meanwhile, across the lobby, Muin stood before a large fish tank. She pressed her hands to the glass and exclaimed, Wow, these fish look delicious. Noah gave her a dry look. You can't eat these. Back at the counter, Leon and Rossweisse were finishing up the paperwork when the receptionist slid 2 key cards across the desk. Leon raised an eyebrow. Only 2 rooms? The receptionist tilted her head. Is there an issue, sir? Are you dissatisfied with the room arrangement? Leon frowned. If my daughters are sharing 1 room, that means I have to share with Rossweisse? The receptionist closed her eyes with a gentle smile. If you're not satisfied with the hot spring suite, we can also offer our exclusive honeymoon suite for couples. Leon responded without hesitation. That won't be necessary. Rossweisse turned to the children. Let's go, Noah, Muin. Okay, Muin chirped, spinning on her heel and skipping over, while Noah followed at a steady pace. Leon trailed behind Rossweisse, shoulders slumped. The receptionist watched them leave with a polite smile. I wish you all a pleasant holiday. Noah and Muin walked ahead, side by side, holding hands. Rossweisse followed, her gaze soft as she watched them. Leon, hands buried in his pockets, wore a troubled expression. He let Rossweisse walk slightly ahead and stared at her back, sighing inwardly. Sharing a room with Rossweisse again. I need to find a way out of this. With sudden resolve, he rushed forward. Muin, do you want to share a room with Daddy? Startled by his sudden appearance, Muin grabbed onto her sister. No, Daddy, I want to stay with my sister. She then raised a finger solemnly. Aunt Isabella said everyone, kids and adults, need their own private space and shouldn't disturb others. At her words, Leon froze, as if turned to stone. cracks forming in his mental composure. Thank you, Muen. You've shattered my final hope. Noah, unfazed, pulled Muen closer. I'll take good care of her. You two can enjoy your world of just the two of you. Behind them, Roswisa covered her mouth, stifling laughter. Leon, eyes shut, felt tears begin to form. Thank you, Noah, for caring so much. But Dad suggests you stop. As they approached their rooms, Roswisa handed the key card to Noah. Here's your room card. Call us if you need anything. Noah reached out and took it. I understand, Mom. Muen grabbed Noah's arm. Come on, sister, let's go open the door. Watching his daughters disappear into their room, Leon flicked away a tear forming at the corner of his eye. The children have grown up and no longer rely on their old father. Roswisa's voice pulled him from his thoughts. She waved their room key card. What are you standing there for? Let's go. Leon stiffened, narrowing his eyes. The real test begins now.